When I got Enterprise, I'd never seen anything else. I'd seen the movies. Should I leave? So, you know, I'll tell the story that I told earlier. So, I had no pressure outside of being an actor looking for a great gig. The day I auditioned for Enterprise the first time was a day where I had 3 pilot auditions, which wound up being about 25 pages of dialogue. So the night before, this is back in the day when you had to go pick up your stuff at your agent's office, like at 9 o'clock, well before the email and the printing and all that newfangled technology. I got them and I had to select which ones were gonna be, you know, 1, 2, 3. Enterprise was last. Didn't even look at it. I learned the other 2, and those shows probably never went anywhere. Learned them, did the auditions, and got to my audition. Also, the Enterprise one was at 3 p.m., which was late enough that I thought I'd have some time. I didn't. I get to this audition, and I walk in, and I do it, and I know when I suck. And I was bad. And the casting director also knew that I was bad. And he was like, his name was Ron Sermon. He smoked like 1,000 cigarettes, and he was like, okay, got it. You come back in an hour? I was like, sure. So I go back to my 1968 Skylark and the windows didn't work, and I sat in my car, I just boiled in the, you know, the hot spring day, and I went back in, sure enough, and I was terrible. And he's like, okay, thanks. 2 days later, my agent calls and says, they want to see you again. And I was like, who? Enterprise. And I was like, oh, all right. So now I had enough time to prepare, and I went and I read for the producers, and I nailed that one. And then they called me in for studio, which you've got to do all these different levels to get, you got to get past people. So I went to studio, which is all the executives at Paramount. And it was me and like 5 models.
Tough.
And I was like, come on. But I was last. So I took my chair and I put it right by the door so I could hear him. And you know, with every dumb model that walked through, I was like, well, if they want an actor,
I'm an actor. The actor
I'll be
is here.
fine. Sure enough, I got through studio and I went to network. And at network at that point, you're like, do they want chocolate? Do they want strawberry or pistachio? You're all very good flavors of ice cream. It's just what they want. Mm-hmm. So I do my thing, and most people on the cast heard like within half an hour. I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything for 5 days. And legally, they have 5 days, then they have to release you. And they didn't do any of that. They didn't release the part, but what I'd heard is that there's a scene in the pilot where I'm with the captain and I look up at the ship and I'm in a shuttle pod, and there's a sense of awe that's just overpowering and overwhelming that I didn't show enough of. I didn't show enough awe. And I was like, can I go back in? All over the room. And they're like, no, they don't want to see you again. And I was like, oh. So come Friday, I didn't hear anything, and I was like, said to my then girlfriend, now wife, we're going to Mexico. So we drive to Mexico for the weekend, and you know, that's the drinking sound. You know, spend a weekend I don't remember well in Mexico, and then back in LA on Monday, and I called him up, my manager, and I was like, what's going on? And he said, I don't know. Called the casting director, and she said, you know, I can't tell you, but you'll sleep well tonight. And I was like, what does that mean? You know, I didn't sleep at all that night. Then the next morning I got the call. But I had the longest road by far, because Paramount or UPN had picked a guy. They do this. They'll get actors and actresses, and they'll put them on retainer, and they'll kind of own them for that year, and they'll try to find a project for them. Well, they had a guy, whoever, and they wanted him for the part, but the people at Star Trek didn't want him. They wanted me.
So we're all friends with Scott Bakula because he's from our city. So what's our friend
I know.
list? Anybody remember Scott Bakula?
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what? His brother is my friend's divorce lawyer in St. Louis.
What?
His brother is a divorce lawyer.
Wait. His brother is your friend's
Friend's
divorce lawyer.
And she said he is really good.
How does that work?
I don't know. I'm just like, what? That's so cool.
Does she need a divorce lawyer like on retainer?
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
I will say this: Scott Bakula is he's one of the really, really good guys in the business. I learned everything that I know about how to behave on a set from him. Not that I was ill-behaved, but he, at the end of every day, he shakes the hand of every crew member and everybody on set. Nobody else I've ever seen does that. Now I do it because he did it, you know, and he respects what everybody does, and I mean, to the point where, like, if we were behind, he would go try to help move lights, and that's the no. He's not part of that union, you know, but he was always there, always had a great attitude. He's just one of those guys that everybody likes and everybody respects, and he's just a true blue St. Louian Midwestern guy.
Good answer. So let's talk about, are there any storylines on Star Trek Enterprise that you would have liked to explore?
Oh, they did so much with me. They did. I mean, gosh, pregnant, cloned. At the end of every year and the beginning of every year, you'd have a meeting with them, the producers, and they'd say, you know, are there any things you'd like to have done this year? What things to explore? And after season 1, I just walked in the room and was like, go. and they did. I remember early on, especially after the episode where I was pregnant, which was like episode 3 or 4 of the whole series.
Sounds so fun.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That was good, though.
Yeah, it was a good
They liked
episode.
it.
The writers would come by periodically down to the set, and I would hear from them that they could hear my voice in their writing, which is really helpful for writers, and really fortunate for me that they could do that, because when you hear somebody's voice, you want to write for it. And so consequently, you know, I think they'd given me enough rope to hang myself with in this pregnancy episode and a couple before that. They worked out, so they continued to hand me stuff. And it really was the greatest acting opportunity I've ever had, because the breadth of what I was able to, you know, try, and the trust they had in me was kind of remarkable.
So that would be your favorite part then? As far as like your favorite part of the show is that they just did so many things with you? Your character?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can answer that only in a generality, in the sense that I didn't really have a single thing that I would, you know, outside of make me captain.
Right.
Which, come on. I mean, if Scott wasn't from St. Louis, you'd all be saying, let's make Connor captain, right?
Right.
Right? I mean...
Okay, so